If you watch my program with any regularity, you probably won't be shocked to hear me say that I'm against violence, I'm against terrorism, I'm against criminality and vandalism. So I have to call it out no matter who the perpetrators are. And there's a story that's gotten relatively little coverage, but is extremely disturbing, which is that a self-described anti-fascist and anarchist showed up at an ICE facility near Seattle, Washington, firebombed the place, attempted to burn cars, buildings. I'll have the details for you in a second. The man ultimately died after being shot by police. He actually said that he was motivated by the recent immigration raids and deportations that the Trump administration has been undertaking. And the facility in question had actually had an organized protest earlier in the day, and the firebomber showed up after hours, very early the following morning, 4 or 5 a.m., threw incendiary devices, lit a car on fire, tried burning down buildings and a propane tank, and generally wreaked havoc. We're talking about a 69-year-old, and as I mentioned, police ultimately shot him dead. Now, the same guy was arrested last year at a protest outside the same detention center after allegedly jumping onto a police officer. We know the man's motivations. Because before he showed up, he wrote a letter to friends calling it a manifesto, saying he was going to, quote, take action against the forces of evil, specifically fascism and, quote, concentration camps. He wrote, I am Antifa, although later he also said he's not actually affiliated with any organization. So listen, when these things happen, it's important for progressive commentators to talk about it. When we don't, we do two things. Number one, we give the right ammunition to claim that the left only covers right-wing violence and to say that we are hypocrites. We don't want that. We are not. The hypocrisy right now is mostly on the right, and we need to keep it that way. If we're against violence, we need to condemn it in all forms, no matter the political orientation. Now, just as importantly, it's important to talk about these stories because it does provide another opportunity to mention that the overwhelming majority of politically motivated violence in the United States is right-wing, period. So I know, as is often the case, many people on both sides are going to be angry with me for this story. There will be some on the left who are angry that I'm even talking about this incident. They will say this was just a mentally ill guy. The fact that he said he was an anti-fascist or whatever, or against Trump's concentration camps, he's really just a mentally ill guy. David, you shouldn't even be talking about it. There will be people on the right who will be angry because they'll say, David, this is a story about left-wing violence. Why are you making this about right-wing violence? Well, listen, left-wing violence exists. This particular incident is also being described as either a suicide by cop attempt by people who knew the man, that mental illness was really the factor here, but it doesn't matter. Either way, this is one incident. At least at the surface level, the radicalization appears to be left-wing radicalization. Okay, in a country of 340 million people, there will be examples of everything, but the bigger numbers point in really clear directions. And it's that most of the political violence in the United States comes from the right. When it comes to Antifa and condemning them, this show has never been a show that placates or embraces these types of groups. I have been completely against movements that use violence in order to try to achieve their political goals. Number one, when it comes specifically to a group that claims to be anti-fascist, when you say you are against fascism, and this goes now to Antifa, not to this guy who wasn't even affiliated in any kind of formal way with these groups. When you claim to be against fascism and you employ violent authoritarian tactics to suppress what you see as fascism, it's implicitly contradictory. Number two, remember, Antifa is tiny. How many people are we even talking about here? This is not how positive change will come to the United States. And I've made that clear. And I don't know that I need to really try to bolster my credentials of being against violence. That's been made pretty clear over the last many, many years on the program. Number three, this particular guy considered himself an anti-fascist, but made clear he's not part of any group. So this individual was a combination of someone who, yes, does appear to have significant emotional disturbance, who has been radicalized, but is also independent and with access to firearms, which is not something that's been discussed. Most of the coverage of this story, which, as I mentioned, the left should be covering it. I've mostly seen only the right cover it. The right has not even mentioned the firearms component. If you're going to seriously talk about what's going on here, talk about the radicalization against fascism and against Trump's deportation. Sure, that's a part of it. Talk about mental illness. That's often a part of any incident where people are motivated to do this stuff. Talk about the guy's affiliation. Sure, talk about all of those things. How do you do the story, though, without talking about the fact that this guy had ready, easy access to firearms that in many countries he would not have had access to? You're not seriously covering the story unless you also talk about the firearm component. So we on the left don't have to shy away from covering these stories anecdotally. People like this are not nearly the biggest problem that we're dealing with. I completely denounce this person's actions. I completely am against any of these violent actions by anybody under the umbrella of Antifa or whatever group they claim to be a part of, no matter what ideological or political agreements or disagreements I would have with anyone on the left, right, middle, anarchist, whatever. These are tactics that I am against, full stop, period. And the left doesn't need to shy away from it. And in particular, we don't need to shy away from it because we are right on the issues. And again, most of the violence, if you really want to deal with political violence in the US, you are disproportionately dealing with right wingers who are the source of that violence. Disagree with me? Many of you might. I'm open to hearing from you. Change my mind about anything that I've said here. I'm on Twitter at @dpakman. The show is on Twitter at David Pakman Show. We have a tremendous, tremendous Friday show for you today. And we will take a quick break and continue right after this. Today's sponsor is Skillshare, and I'm excited to tell you that everybody in our audience is getting 2 entire months of free access to Skillshare when you click the link underneath this video. Skillshare is the site that offers over 25,000 online courses on almost any topic you can imagine: cooking, meditation, photography, video editing, Photoshop, managing a small business, almost an endless list. And whether you're trying to get ahead in your career, maybe you want to learn new skills that will make you better at your job, you might just be exploring a new hobby and you're trying to find new ways to be creative in your personal time, Skillshare's the perfect place to fully immerse yourself in whatever you're trying to learn. I really enjoyed the class on more advanced video editing techniques because it's something I've been wanting to improve at, but have been very busy hosting the David Pakman Show for the last few years. Once again, the David Pakman Show is giving you 2 whole months of access to every single class offered by Skillshare. After those 2 months, if you want to keep your subscription, Skillshare's super affordable at less than $10 a month. Get better at whatever it is that you're passionate about, or discover something brand new that you didn't even know that you would love, and join Skillshare's other 7 million users by clicking the link underneath this video.